So, yesterday I watched this video about the Lincoln Kennedy murders and how there were all these weird similarities in between them. Like, both the presidents were shot in the head, both presidents were non-Masons, and both of their successors were Masons. They both were elected to presidency in 60. And there's just this very, very long list with maybe 200 similarities. And it makes you wonder, is there something weird going on here? Or is there rational explanation? So I have Simon with me today. He's a statistician, and he can tell us a little bit about why this happens.
So for sure, this is unusual what we see. And when you look through all these similarities, I'll certainly agree with you. It does seem impossible that all of this could happen just by pure chance. But fortunately, there is a statistical explanation for all of this. And it's related to a phenomenon called data snooping. And data snooping, that is basically when you look through data and you take out specific parts of data and then you discard the rest. And what I mean with that is that here you have all these similarities, but consider also that you have removed all the things that these presidents do not have in common. So there's a lot of information that is not shown here.
Okay, so you're saying that even though there's 200 similarities in the entire data set that they've been looking through, they've maybe been looking through 10,000 things to only find these 200, and then it's not such a big deal after all.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. See, I mean, these presidents have gone through many things in their lives, and we could start comparing, for example, the name of their mother, the name of their father, which kind of weapon they died with, and if it rained when Lincoln died, if it also rained when Kennedy died, and say one of them might be a similarity. And that would be surprising in itself, but considering that you just look through, say, 10 or 20 different things that were not similarities, then it is possible after all.
Okay, so if this data snooping is something that happens often in statistics, then what can you do to prevent it?
Well, first of all, if you're the one doing the analysis, it's important that you show everything and not just say the interesting part. And what I mean here is that if you present a list of similarities, then it's also very important that you, in contrary to this, present a list with non-similarities, because the similarities, they don't seem so special once you have all the non-similarities next to them.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, so if you saw the list of 200, but then next to it you also saw the list of 10,000 non-similarities, then maybe it would not be so convincing.
Yes.
So then I know that this also happens in your job. You work with medicine, trying to figure out is there any side effects to them, and this data dredging and data snooping comes up in your work. Maybe you could talk about that.
Yes, so before you launch a medicine into the market, you would do various tests where you would give some patients or people, you would give them your drug, and you would give another group of patients a placebo drug. And then you would compare these two groups and see which effects both of them got. And here for sure you could do data snooping as well, because you could look at both groups and see if there was a difference in IQ, if there was a difference in, say, maybe diseases related to cancer. And you could look through so many things. And just by pure coincidence, there probably is going to be something sticking out that looks kind of suspicious. That could be IQ, for example. But that doesn't mean at all that IQ is actually related to this medicine. It could just be a coincidence.
Yeah, okay. So is this sometimes abused maybe other than in this Lincoln Kennedy conspiracy? Does it happen in other places as well?
Well, it could be used in, say, or abused in many other fields. One example that could be just in general with regards to food, showing that unhealthy food is healthy. There's a lot of studies talking about sugar, and is it really bad or is it maybe good? That's a debate. Also with politics, there's a lot of misinformation in politics, and that can sometimes be related to data snooping.
Yeah, that reminds me of a website you once showed me, which was like you could, with the data available, you could just tweak the parameters a little bit to define which has the Democrats done a better job or have the Republicans done a better job of improving the economy. And if you, for example, only look at employment rate, then the Democrats may have done a better job. Or you look at the Republicans, and then the stock market has gone up, and then you're showing the same data, but you're saying this group is better than the other based on just this data snooping, which is kind of, I feel like that's manipulation in a way, because it seems to be willful.
I mean, you pick the data that confirms your conclusion, and then you discard the rest.
That's also like when you see, whenever you see a debate, both sides want to win, right? So they just present these things, and as a person that's just watching it, you look at it and you're like, oh, okay, well, it's true. The stock market did go up from like since Trump was elected, and the employment rate has gone down. But you don't know what about inflation or something else. It's just you can make both sides the winner based on how you pick it, and that's kind of interesting.
And I mean, this just underlines that when you're presented with various statistics or analyses, you always have to have a bit of skepticism with you, maybe considering if this person who's presenting the results, if they have an agenda, or if it seems kind of like some things have been excluded. Say, looking at only employment, for example, in terms of defining whether or not the economy is doing good or bad, that's a very narrow measure, and that's what I would define as a selected or data snooping thing to do.
I actually kind of like that you bring up just looking at employment rate, because here in Denmark we have a lot of socialism, so a way to reduce unemployment is to just create more jobs in the government sector, and maybe they're not always needed, but it looks really, really good on the statistics if you need to get re-elected for office, because you can just go out and say, hey, unemployment is down. It's really good, but there's not necessarily been created any value from it.
Yeah, and I mean, you can do it both ways.
So I think that wraps up the topic. The Lincoln-Kennedy coincidences is definitely just not a real conspiracy. It's just data snooping. If you want to hear anything more from us, please leave a comment below the video so we can know what you want to be done better, what can we improve on, and maybe leave a like and a subscribe so we can make more of this for you.